All right, welcome to round number 1. We are on an easy mulligan here. Go ahead and ship that. This looks like another mulligan for us. We have Leyline land and enchantments, but we're missing something pretty important here. This hand might be better than the average 4. We still don't have one of our important parts of the deck that we're usually aggressively mulliganing for, but we do have a way to draw a card, plus our scry, plus some interaction. I think it's going to be better than the average 4, but it goes kind of against the principle of the deck to keep something like this. On 7, like, you know, fill in like land enchantment or something. Of course, we are fortunate enough to find it, but on like 7 or 8 cards, there's no way, or 8 cards. On 7 or 6 cards, wrong way. There's no way I would keep something like this with just an extra piece of filler, but I think on 5 you're kind of getting a little bit more desperate. Fortunately, we found the Glade cover just in time. Against Neonate, I'm probably just doing this. My life total's likely to matter quite a bit, but I still think I need to be able to play 2 white spells next turn badly enough. Okay, they're just actually on Dredge. This matchup is very, very difficult for Dredge. I've struggled with it a lot on the Dredge side from time to time. It's just basically impossible to beat a Daybreak Coronet. Now, right now, I don't have anything like that. So we will have to find something like that. By the way, they did Dredge a Golgari Thug off the Neonate and then a Life from the Loam for turn. Of course, they just cast a Life from the Loam, returning a bunch of lands. Let's go ahead and suit our gentleman up here, or lady up here. Either way. Our gentle elf. Not getting in for a whole lot, but hopefully we can find a way. They dredge the loam. Return Bloodghast. Get a prized amalgam attached. This is definitely a game that they can win until we find something like a way to increase our clock a ton, or Daybreak Coronet, or maybe even Spirit Link, though with the power and toughness we got going on right now, Spirit Link not necessarily going to save the day. They go ahead and conflagrate me now. All right, well, that's the one. We've drawn pretty well this game. Should be basically impossible for my opponent to win now. Narcomoeba. We do have path for it, but opponent packs it in anyway. It's just impossible to get past this thing, and we're getting so much life. All right, Rest in Peace coming in, of course, making it even more difficult to my opponent, though they're likely to have a lot of ways to interact with enchantments. Teague stops Conflagrate, but we're not usually super worried about Conflagrate. It's still worth mentioning, I guess. I don't know that I'm going to want it. This also interacts very profitably with Conflagrate. So we could consider that. Seals I'm not interested in. Stony Silence I'm not interested in. Canonist I think it's just going to end up hurting me more than them. Paths are okay. And Spirit Link is okay. As far as things I'm not terribly excited about, these don't do a lot here. Ley lines, again, interact with Conflagrate. I'd probably rather have Gaddock over them. The problem is they might still have like lightning axes. They may have discard in their board, though. Usually it's going to be heavier on brutalities, though, and pretty light on stuff like Thoughtseize, so I don't think that's a real consideration. I think I'm going to probably end up boarding these out. Obviously, one of my Coronets. Spirit Mantle's fine. Yeah, I'm fine with all of that. So maybe like these. Definitely these, of course. Let's do a couple of these and a couple of these. I think Teague, just being a creature, is worth a lot more than Dromoka's Command or Leyline. I guess over Dromoka's Command, I'd probably rather have Leyline anyway. So it's the question of like whether Teague is better than something. I guess I didn't mention the last game either. On our 5, like if we didn't draw a Slippery Boggle, we could have gone for Slippery Bogle. We could have gone for Arbor. Since Dredge isn't likely to have a lot of removal game 1 except for Conflagrate. Of course, I didn't have a way of making it particularly big to make Conflagrate not useful, so anyway, a little bit of a side note there, but maybe a Spirit Mantle. I think just 2 Teagues, I guess. There's probably a cut I'm supposed to make there for the 3rd Teague. Yeah, I mean, this is a keep. It's land heavy, but I'm not going to be especially greedy here. Even though I have stuff like Rest in Peace, like, I still think the matchup is good enough that I'm going to win a game on average where I just have, like, Boggle plus stuff. So very happy to keep this hand. There's a lot of decks where, ooh, we have a significant choice here. The Elf Scout treated me right last game, so. Plus, it doesn't even, like, get to be in the namesake of the deck just because it's newer, so, like, you know, you got to give it its time in the sun. Anyway, opponent mulligan pretty aggressively, as Dredge often does, and apparently didn't find a hand they were pleased with, so we get the W here. I'll see you in just a moment for round number 2.